You can now listen to Fox News articles. Tom Hardy sent Charlize Theron into a rage of fury during their filming of Mad Max: Fury Road, according to a new oral history book centered on the movie's production. In Blood, Sweat Chrome, a book that sheds light on the film that grossed nearly $375 million in worldwide box office, Theron, 46, explains the brother-sister dynamic she shared with Hardy and ultimately says the rift between the two A-list performers shouldn't have spilled into production in the myriad of ways they allowed it to. It was like two parents in the front of the car. We were either fighting or we were icing each other, I don't know which one is worse, and they had to deal with it in the back. It was horrible. We should not have done that, we should have been better. I can own up to that, she explains in an excerpt, according to Vanity Fair. However, on-set crew members further revealed the jaw-dropping incident that allegedly sent Theron over the edge after Hardy, 44, arrived to film some 3 hours late while she had sat waiting for The Dark Knight Rises star in the war rig while in full costume, makeup and all. Video I remember vividly the day, camera operator Mark Goellnicht explained of the Oscar-winning film that took home 6 awards out of its 10 nominations. The call on set was 8 o'clock. Charlize got there right at 8 o'clock, sat in the war rig, knowing that Tom's never going to be there at 8 even though they made a special request for him to be there on time. Goellnicht alleges in the Scribe that Hardy was notorious for never being on time in the morning. If the call time was in the morning, forget it, he didn't show up. First assistant camera Ricky Schamburg added of the sequel to the popular franchise starring Mel Gibson, whether that was some kind of power play or not, I don't know, but it felt deliberately provocative. If you ask me, he kind of knew that it was really pie-ing Charlize off, because she's professional, and she turns up really early. Goellnicht maintained in the piece that Theron laid into Hardy when he finally did arrive for their scheduled call time, explaining that the South African native didn't hold back in her admonishment of Hardy. Video She jumps out of the war rig, and she starts swearing her head off at him, saying, "Find the F, King C, TA $100, for every minute that he's held up this crew, and how disrespectful you are." Goellnicht claimed. She was right, he continued. Full rant. She screams it out. It's so loud, it's so windy, he might have heard some of it, but he charged up to her and went, "What did you say to me?" Hardy was quite aggressive. She really felt threatened, and that was the turning point. For fear the tense exchange might have escalated into bad acting, Theron reportedly ushered producer Denise Di Novi to shadow Theron on set to ensure things went smoothly from that moment on. Theron and Hardy have been outspoken about the blow-up in years past, and in the book, Theron said she genuinely was in concern for her safety and felt a woman mediator could alleviate much of the schism between herself and Hardy. It got to a place where it was kind of out of hand, and there was a sense that maybe sending a woman producer down could maybe equalize some of it, because I didn't feel safe, Theron said. I kind of put my foot down. Director, George Miller, then said, "Okay, well, if Denise comes." He was open to it, and that kind of made me breathe a little bit, because it felt like I would have another woman understanding what I was up against. In hindsight, I was in over my head in many ways, Hardy said about the confrontation. The pressure on both of us was overwhelming at times. What she needed was a better, perhaps more experienced partner in me. I'd like to think that now that I'm older and uglier, I could rise to that occasion. The film opened in 2015 and centered on Hardy's Max Rokitansky on a mission to rescue a group of female prisoners that included Theron, Zoe Kravitz and Rosie Huntington-Whiteley.